Oh, What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Dead Funny Review Show. I'm your host, Chris. Joined today is my co-host, Kelsey and JoJo, and today we're here to talk about Black Widow, the Marvel movie. Yeah.
I messed up that part.
You did. Good job. Get fucked, nerd. Anyways, so.
Being an asshole.
Oh, shit.
Fair.
So, Black Widow Marvel movie just got released not that long ago. For those of you who are wanting to watch it, spoiler alert. And if you want to watch it, either you can go out to watch it in theaters or you can watch it on Disney streaming services. Which, by the way, you guys see the fact that she's like suing Disney over that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
it's all going to come down to her contract. It's really all going to come down to her. I don't think she's going to win regardless. I think she literally has like 0.1% chance of winning this because it's fucking Disney. But everybody's like, even if she loses, it's going to like make a new wave moving forward. And it's like, but it's not. Capitalism, money goes where capitalism goes where money goes, right? So if Disney makes more money by releasing this on their streaming service, they're going to continue to do it and not fucking care what anybody has to say about it. Doesn't matter.
I don't think they
doesn't matter.
I don't know. I don't think they're stoked about this stuff either.
I don't know.
No, because they don't get as much money from DVD sales, so that's the whole reason that they're doing the premiere access where you pay $30 to get it earlier, is because they're trying to make up for the loss of DVD sales.
And there you go. So they might make more money on the front end versus losing a lot of money on the back end. So I don't know. But anyways, so that's interesting. But yeah, so Black Widow. I didn't like this movie. At all. Literally. At all.
I understand why.
Multiple reasons. I mean, first off, Taskmaster was an absolute fucking disgrace to the character. Did not care for the backstory. I thought that was pretty fucking dumb. Okay, here's a controversial issue. We'll jump into that first because I'm sure this will be interesting.
God.
Let's jump into the controversial issue first. There will never be a time where we can have movies that don't have some kind of personal agenda in it, whether it's men to women, women to men, whatever. There's clearly one in this one. And the reason why I say this is that whenever there are movies where there is an agenda that's so obvious, there's always the same trope. And it happens on both ends. It happens for women and it happens for men. Same thing every time. The opposite sex is nothing but an absolute idiot the entire movie. They could have taken Red Guardian out of that movie and it literally wouldn't have made a difference. He was the dumbest person the entire movie. The only chance that he had of redemption was fighting against Taskmaster, which he got absolutely fucking rocked the entire fight. Didn't do a single thing. They had a whole 10-minute scene where he couldn't figure out how to open a door. I mean, he was literally just a babbling buffoon the entire time, which was an absolute disgrace to the actual character, Red Guardian, which sucks. But yeah, I hate that. And the reason why I say this, because I'm not going to pretend that those things don't happen the other shoe on the other foot, because they clearly do, where like women are just the receptionist, or, you know, oh, you're a badass superhero, but you're a woman, so now shit's getting real, fucking hide behind me, or you shouldn't be out here, go somewhere safe. Definitely happens in other movies. Has never happened in Marvel. Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow has had her place, and it's never been taken from her, in my opinion. When shit was going down in New York, she was out there with the rest of them, fighting aliens, all kinds of shit. Literally not one time did Captain America jump and be like, you're a fucking woman, get inside, you can't be out here, it's not safe. Like, it never happened. Like, I just don't feel that character has ever been treated like that in the MCU. So for that to be just such a 180 switch to a character out of nowhere did not sit right with me personally. And then the only other chance for a possible male character to even somewhat be a competition for Black Widow, entire origin got switched around so that way it was a female. So yeah, I don't really care for the propaganda push, in my opinion, that I feel that was in there. Like I said, once again, it's my opinion.
Stuff was nice. Got her a jet. Was competent.
Yeah, that dude was totally
Okay.
cool. The
was
random
fun.
guy they threw in there to make sure that she
Yeah.
had fucking safe passage to go wherever she wanted to go. Sure, absolutely, you're right. Fucking golden award for that guy.
Now you
Killing
know that the writers sent over a script at the beginning of early on that had a whole bunch of period jokes in them about
No,
like,
I
oh
have
yeah,
no
the
fucking
reason
clue
that they're
about any of
grumpy
that.
and stuff like that. Like my point being, this is her origin story, and
Mm-hmm.
it is supposed to show that like how different it is with the Avengers for her. It is
Right.
supposed to show that she found a home and
Mm-hmm.
she made a home, and that home was not the people that she thought she was biologically related to.
Mm-hmm.
That home was the people that treated her like family from the beginning. And so it was meant to show the Avengers in a better light
Right.
entirely. And
Absolutely.
it does straight up acknowledge that there are generational differences on this issue. Like,
It's-
I have adult men at work that still call me darling and dear, not realizing, like, that's inappropriate. I had an adult man one day see me in the hallway and tell me, Kelsey, you look, what's the word I'm looking for? Young. And I'm like, okay, that's good. We can leave it there. And he's like, you look fresh. FYI, do not ever tell a professional woman she looks fresh. That is not fucking okay. So that was an older gentleman. And so I just like to point out, like, they did highlight the generational differences in addition to the difference in the Avengers versus this. And it was not portrayed in a positive light. It was clearly portrayed in a negative light. Like, being sexist isn't great for anybody.
Right, which works for the person that that's supposed to work for, which is the main bad guy and anybody who follows his reign. I completely agree with you. But we take someone like Taskmaster, whose only superpower is photographic reflexes, against someone who literally is the fucking Russian version of Captain America. So should have had zero issues, literally super enhanced physically and everything. I mean, dude literally fucking threw a tank or whatever the fuck that was at the beginning of the movie, a trailer, with ease, with fucking ease.
I think there's an implication that her suit was giving her some extra strength or something, because, like, obviously that very thin woman was not,
I understand that, but
that
still,
strong.
the realm of reality, like, it would be different if the fight was close. He did nothing. Nothing. He literally just stood there and got his ass kicked to buy time for everybody else. He didn't land a single fucking punch. He got his ass kicked all
would
up and
he
down the
have?
fucking hallway.
Also, I mean, also to
Yes!
he is an out of shape in prison. He couldn't fit into his suit. Like, he's supposed to be chubby now.
One,
has
he
a-
did fit into his suit. That was
he had
clear.
to squeeze it
One,
up.
he
That's
did
the
fit
point,
into
though.
his
He
suit.
gained weight.
Two, it doesn't matter. Captain America could gain that weight stuff too. It's the actual shit that's going through their body. They'll never lose that strength. It will never lose that
Oh yeah,
strength.
but he can lose his fighting skills. You know, like, there is an element of, like, Captain America.
You can't land a hit? A hit?
Level.
I
Isn't
would,
the whole point of Taskmaster that he wouldn't?
but that's where the
Like, that
argument
was-
comes into play.
That was
That's
your
where the
big
argument
fear,
comes into play.
Is that they were going to make Taskmaster an actual beatable villain, and they didn't.
Well, I disagree. He was pretty beatable to any other woman in the movie, but whenever it came to the man, no, absolutely not. So that's the problem. Taskmaster has.
beat Scarlett Johansson at the start when they were on a bridge. Like,
Yeah,
Eh,
she did
I
not
don't-
win that.
There was
Gotcha.
not really like a straight up fight, but see the reason why though is because they played the powers correctly. Scarlett Johansson is a known person. She was an Avenger. Taskmaster was watching footage of her at the beginning of the movie. Zero chance they had any information on fucking Red Guardian. Because he said it from the movie.
Red Guardian,
No.
because he's from their country.
He's from their
Product of the
country.
exact same military operation.
He's from their country, but here's where your point plays against you. You said he's out of shape. He doesn't have the same fighting skills. Guarantee you he doesn't have the same stances. We saw that because he's overweight.
Right,
There
so
would be
he sucks.
zero way to predict how he was going to fight. Zero way to
Predict
predict.
that he's going to do the same thing, but bad. Kind of. The
not
stuff he
how
would
it works,
do, but
dude.
worse.
It's not how it works. Deadpool was able to fucking beat Taskmaster by dancing while fighting. That's the flaw. There's the flaw.
Oh, that's
if it's a
Deadpool. That's
slight
like-
difference,
that's
you
explicitly
can't play
comedic.
that card. You can't play that
Big,
card.
man.
If we're looking at the power in general, it's been said that it has to be a slight variation. Slight being the key word here. That you can't tell me is not a slight variation of how the Red Guardian would actually fight.
She doesn't have to fight like the Red Guardian. She can fight like real ass Captain America and beat the Red Guardian, because the Red Guardian is a fucking mess now. Like, Taskmaster fights people competently without having to know their exact stuff.
Yes and no. The reason why Taskmaster does that, at least comic book reason-wise, is because he gets his ass kicked early fight and uses that as time to be able to copy their moves. That would imply that Red Guardian was winning the beginning of that fight. Red Guardian was losing the fight the entire time. From start to finish.
Yeah,
there was not a single time.
That's just...
If that's where we want to go with it, sure. But that literally plays right back into what I just said.
The point is not men are bad. The point is, like, the Russian system there was bad, kind of.
For sure. Absolutely.
Her surrogate mother was not, like, any better.
Absolutely. Completely agree with
and
you.
she was not portrayed
100%.
well. Like,
yeah. Things just weren't very... It's really just anti-communist propaganda, this whole film.
I don't know if I would say she's not portrayed well. For somebody who was set up with the quote-unquote brainwashing that she had, it literally took a quick second for Scarlett Johansson to break down a plan, and she was like, okay, cool, I'm on board.
But, I mean,
like, she didn't actually betray them.
Going on for 20, 30 years or whatever, so, like...
Sure, and Johansson did the same thing technically growing up, and so did the other sister and everybody else.
Make, like, one good decision at the end, but they were still doing some bad shit for a long time. And, like, intentionally. Not like Elena, who had to be forced into it.
Sure, well, I don't know if I'd say that. I mean, they were literally fucking brainwashed, like, physically versus being brainwashed chemically. So, I mean, whenever you're... I mean, Scarlett Johansson said it in the movie.
That Rachel Weisz was necessarily brainwashed, though. She seemed to just be doing it. Because she was brainwashed, she wouldn't be able to decide to not do it, right? Like, she was exerting free will, I think.
I mean, she knew about all the pheromone stuff and everything else that she was relaying to them. So, I mean, obviously she went through the same stuff. No, I'm talking about she related to the rest of the team. While Scarlett Johansson was actually up there dealing with it. Because remember, she's the one that told Scarlett Johansson that she would have to separate the nerve in order to not be able to be overtaken by that. So she had to have gone through somewhat of a level that Scarlett Johansson. Not chemically, like the sister.
One developing those processes is how it sounded. Mm-hmm. She knew that because she came up with it.
Maybe. I don't know. Either way, like I said, it's everywhere. And it's not just like this movie alone is where I'm like, fucking A, I'm fucking throwing my hands up. Because it happens all the time. I mean, fucking the show Mad Men, for Christ's sakes. Like, that right there is the most misogynistic fucking show in existence. Like, in existence. Like, it happens in all fucking media. And it's annoying.
Representation of real 60s men.
Exactly. So, like I said, it's not like this movie is like the first time I'm seeing this forever. It's just more along the lines of like, I felt Marvel was finally at a point where, like, we got to a cinema where, like, that wasn't a thing. Because, like I said, in my opinion, and please tell me if I'm wrong, in any of the Marvel movies, I have not felt that a single time with any character. At all. And then we finally get to this, and now we feel it.
I know people that thought that whole moment of... in Endgame, all the girls lined up and like, she's not alone, and they run the thing across and start that process, was like the most pandering, awful thing to happen.
I think this movie had a couple moments of like ham-fisted shit when the real bad guy is like, you know what, the most abundant resource that we have in the world is girls. Something.
Yeah,
like, the dude was a creep, 100%. Yeah, he was 100% a fucking creep. Absolutely.
Like, I don't think the movie overall was that.
Because one thing that I will point out about that specific scene, and this is where I differ from a lot of the other, I get obvious male viewer audience that had the same complaint that I do, is that they talk about the fact that when she's talking to him, she keeps calling him disgusting and little and da-da-da-da-da, and that's just them taking a chance to berate all men. I did not see that whatsoever. I saw that as her saying that to an actual disgusting little piece of shit as an actual fucking guy. Exactly, 100%.
Which hopefully each of you would then go, this guy was a piece of shit.
Oh,
not
yeah,
all men are
100%.
pieces of shit.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
This guy was a
100%.
truly unique, awful person.
There wasn't a single time where she was saying that where I felt offended at all. No, it didn't happen because I'm not a piece of
If
shit.
you're seeing that and then also taking offense to it, maybe that's saying something about if you're seeing yourself in Dreykov.
Yeah, exactly.
You might be the problem.
you might be the issue. Yeah, exactly. So that's where I agree. Like I said, to me, and to be fair, I shouldn't say I completely dislike the entire movie because that's not true. I basically, once the Red Guardian suited up, I could care less about the movie after that. Because it was very clear, because they started out with him being this badass. He's fucking breaking the dude's fucking arm in prison. Like, he's got his strength. Like, they made that very clear. He still has his strength. He still has his powers all these years later.
Yeah, he's strong. That's just
And then he did fucking nothing. Well, that's the problem, though. Couldn't even fucking open a goddamn door. Once again, there's a whole fucking 5-minute scene of him not being able to open a door, and then the fucking chick's just like, button press.
It's dumb.
Yeah, that's my problem. Dumb shit like that didn't need to exist. Besides making him look like a fucking idiot. The one possible male role model in the movie, because Taskmaster's now a female, canonly in the MCU. The one or the one possible, not positive, because dude was definitely a terrible fucking dad, even though that's not even his kids. The one possible fucking male role model in the movie was automatically just this bumbling buffoon that's just stumbling around fucking shit up, not able to fucking do anything because he's a fucking piece of shit. So, and once again, compared to the actual Red Guardian, is a very, very disgusting portrayal of his character. Very disgusting portrayal. Dreykov, sure, fuck that guy. He can eat a dick, 100%. Completely agree with you. Black Widow, once again, one of my top fucking characters in the MCU because she's a badass. Like I said, I stand by that fucking quote. I do not think that there's ever been a time where she has been played down when she should have been. She is not a superhero. The fact they chose to send her to go calm the Hulk down made fucking zero sense to me besides, oh, the Hulk has somewhat of a fucking crush on her. Like, that's it. But she was like, fuck it, I'm here. I could die. Fuck it, I'm here. I'm Black Widow. I'm going to fucking do this.
That's totally a thing where it's like, they played her weirdly because she's a woman. It's like, oh, she can go her womanness to calm down the Hulk. It's like,
yep.
Joss Whedon, man, what are you doing? What is this?
Yeah, but like I said, it's more of the fight scenes too. Is what more.
Yeah, I mean,
if she's running around and only able to fight other women, and whenever all the alien shit was going down, and she's like playing fucking what's her fucking face, Gordon's daughter, like Oracle, sitting in a fucking tower directing everybody on what they should be doing so they don't lose track of the fight, I'd be right behind you, be like, wow, that's fucking disgusting. Like, fucking, her character's badass. Why can't she be out there fighting with the rest of them? But right next to fucking Hawkeye, someone who's the same level as her, she's out there fucking doing her shit. When fucking Thanos is around, she's doing what she can do in the realistic aspects of her bounds. Makes 100% sense. Fucking Captain Marvel. I didn't see the fucking movie. Didn't have a problem with her in Endgame whatsoever. Didn't have a problem with her in fucking Infinity War. Because once again, her OP-ness is legit. Like, that is legit. That is that fucking character. 100%. Makes sense. Had zero issue with it. Pepper Potts putting on the suit and being able to just fucking go. Makes sense because who actually operates the suit? It's not Tony. It's not Pepper. It's fucking Jarvis. So it makes sense. She puts on a suit. She could pull some shit off. Obviously. Fucking Valkyrie, another great fucking example. A fucking badass. She's literally a fucking Valkyrie. Makes sense. So whenever I see that stack, and then it's like, bam. I don't know. Like I said, maybe I have too much love for the Red Guardian. Maybe that's my fucking problem.
One aberration in a series filled with cool dudes doing cool shit, right?
Well, once again, I also
he's one, not many. Yeah, that's true.
Yes, absolutely. I think another issue on why this is such a hot button topic for me, I guess, is all the, and we talked about this during the Loki review show, about all the pre-press about the movie, about how this is this kind of movie, this is this kind of movie, and it's just like, at some point, things that are going on definitely need attention, 100%. I don't want to sooner or later live in a world where every movie is agenda pushing, because then it's just, there's no more entertainment in it, because it's never going to be. No, I stand by this 100%. And the reason why is because
I've got to follow up. Keep talking.
Okay, the reason why is because it will always be something or other. The chances of you watching every single movie that you agree with is going to be fucking slim to fucking none. You're going to watch maybe 2 out of 10 movies will be an agenda that you agree with, and the other 8 will not be. And then it's like, what at that point is entertainment? You know what I mean? Because I don't feel, and now this I could be a little bit misguided on. I don't feel entertainment is the best way to necessarily get that point across if the movie is not created for that. Now, I do understand Black Widow, that movie in general, does stand outside that because it was specifically about the Red Room. That makes sense. Completely understand that. Completely get that. That I agree with. But other movies, like I said, if this would have been like in every single fucking movie where like she would have been treated like a woman every single fucking time, like Peggy Carter. That's another perfect example. She's treated like a fucking secretary the entire fucking show, but yet she's this fucking badass behind the fucking scenes and stuff like that. Makes sense because, as you said, with Mad Men, it was the times, and they found a way to do the whole woman power thing within the show that made sense. It absolutely made sense. Like I said, my biggest gripe and complaint is specifically the betrayal, or the betrayal, not the betrayal. Oh my gosh. Anyways, specifically the Red Guardian is what I'm trying to get to. That's my problem with the fucking movie.
And I think that's fair. I just have 2 points very fast, and then JoJo, I'm sure you want to jump in and say something. It looked like you did. So first, your assumption assumes that media and entertainment can exist in an apolitical space, and I don't think that's true. I think what we have taken as kind of white male narratives, and we assume that's apolitical, and when it is not experienced as apolitical to the rest of the world, it just is if you represent that, and that is you. Second, you're discounting what we know to be true, and I believe you have said previously, like, representation matters. The fact that when that whole, like, all the girls are lined up and it's she's not alone, there were like 15 different female heroes on there. And if I'm a little girl that's super into being a scientist, like, Shuri is there. If I do not give a shit about science and I just want to be like super fucking powerful, like, Captain Marvel is there. Like, I can pick different superheroes based on what I as a person am actually interested in, and I don't have literally one choice. And so I would argue media is never apolitical. It just isn't, and we want it to be, and we like that argument. I don't know that we can actually stand by media actually being apolitical, and it's different when you haven't been represented to this point. Like, there have been so many movies made with male characters where the only female character is the bimbo in the corner who shows up literally for her boobs and nothing else. Like, we have media now where, men are shown as idiots. It doesn't feel good, and you're absolutely right, and it's not fair, and I don't like the portrayal of competent characters as incompetent, whether they're male or female. And so I get your frustration, and I don't disagree with you, because I had a similar thought where I went, did he have to be the biggest, most sexist buffoon to exist in order for this narrative to be told? And I don't love that. I do think David Harbour had a fucking blast playing that character.
Oh, I'm sure. Because there's a comedy aspect. And once again, it's like, who's signing up to fucking make a Red Guardian movie? Like, this was his one chance to be in an MCU movie. Like, it makes sense, for sure.
They could totally do a Disney Plus show of, like, the weird-ass Russian superheroes, the guy who turns into a bear.
We'll see.
Red Guardian, whatever.
We'll see. I guess, to be fair to your point, I should have narrowed it down to the fact that, I mean, obviously, I still stand by the thing that I don't want every single fucking piece of entertainment I consume to be agenda-pushing, but that still goes back to where I was talking about with my first point, which is I don't feel that was there in the MCU before. Ant-Man, for instance.
I was going to say, people lost their fucking mind with Black Panther because they're just like, God, these black people have to have their fucking movie. And it's like, nah, he's a great character.
He's a great character. Exactly. Fantastic. And it was about building him in correctly, and he came in correctly when he should have came in.
Lost their minds, and a ton of people didn't go because they're just like, nope, this is a movie about black people, and I'm not interested in that narrative pushing. And so it's
correct, but there was also another big issue with that, which I'm not placating to those people whatsoever, by the way. Fuck them, like 100%.
Yeah, if you didn't,
you're not one to go watch because it's a fucking black person's movie. Go fuck yourself. But there was also the other side of that. Now, once again, people who are at home watching this, and for us here on the fucking set, usually the loudest part is the minority. So let's keep that in mind. The loudest part being the minority here. The other group, the other side of the table, was also saying you should not go see this opening week because this is just for black people, which that's also not true. So it's media. It's for everybody. There's tons of people who are fucking just fans of Black Panther. Just go see the fucking movie. That's what I mean. It doesn't have to be agenda pushing. Now, I do agree. It was great to actually see a black superhero on that scale of a fucking movie having their own solo movie and being that deep into African culture. Absolutely. That was great to see because I felt that that was an actual great representation of a Black Panther comic. I fucking loved the Black Panther movie. It was fucking great. Go ahead.
I think that movie probably has as much of a message politically as Black Widow does, and people are just getting into the Black Widow one more because she's a lady, because it's more in your, it's a little more obvious, maybe, but
I think it's also more familiar because I
always
don't.
there.
I'm sorry, JoJo. I just full on interrupted you. Do you want to finish what your thought is?
My thought was done.
So I think I've talked about this before, and I don't know if I've done it on camera. I used to go to the gym all the time when COVID wasn't a thing, and my big thing was the stair climber, and I'd spend an hour plus on the stair climber. I've said that before. I would watch Marvel movies when I was doing that, and like Thor Ragnarok, that is the shit to get me through an hour on the stair climber, because it is just action-packed hilarity, and it's amazing. And one day I was like, oh yeah, Black Panther, let's totally watch that. And that one, I could not get through an hour on a stair climber because the action is very different, and I realized, like, they intentionally chose, we're not going to make an angry black man movie. Like, they made that choice in that movie, and so they have a well-dressed, educated, intelligent, fully, like, competent black man that there's nobody doubting his competence. There is nothing but people who agree that he is all of those things, and he is all of those things legitimately through the whole movie. And that is a narrative. There is a political and intentional narrative. There is no part of that was an accident. That was very on purpose. And
I mean, but wouldn't Michael B. Jordan
at you or me because
right?
That's not our community.
For sure, but wouldn't Michael B. Jordan kind of fall into the angry black man?
And he was the villain.
No, for sure. That's fair. That's a fair way to look at it.
One of very few villains in these movies that has like kind of a point.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
There, and that's a political thing too, where like he's making some strong arguments about how they should.
Well, I mean that's one of the. Yeah, I mean that's one of the number one MCU villains where the argument is, was he actually a villain?
Right.
He's someone who watched his dad die by his own people and then chose to go back to rule the people the way that he feels that they should be ruled due to the fact of the injustice that was done to him as a child. I mean,
and I know a bunch of people
that
the moment that he started being like, the moment he started saying anything about slaves, were just like, fucking black people and those fucking agendas again. And I was just like, do you not recognize that there is no way you can have a conversation about a black superhero in America without having that conversation? Like, both sides of the coin are true, and it is an emotional, like, challenge. And I actually think Falcon and the Winter Soldier did a great job of putting a face on that and making that more understandable and more palatable for the wide audiences that got so turned off from it in Black Panther, because they were just like, oh, it's about this again. And it's like, it's always going to come back to this. Right. Until the wounds of this have been healed, and that's not going to happen in 5 minutes. You can't heal hundreds of years in 5 minutes. Like, no.
It's a real adaptation of the comics too. Like
that's the thing, though.
The comics had a message as well, and I think Black Widow implicitly had that when she came around. Had feminist messaging in there too that just naturally comes out if you're making a movie about her. Like if you're making a accurate kind of movie about her.
Yeah.
Not just.
Well, as Kelsey pointed out, representation's big to me. She said it earlier. And once again, the representation for Taskmaster was terrible. I felt the same thing. I mean, it's true. I felt the same thing, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't go watch Captain Marvel, because once again, it seemed like all the male roles that were important in her life in the comics all got switched with women. And I don't see the point in changing the character. Like, for instance, I always go back to this, the perfect argument, and I'm glad it's in the MCU. Nick Fury being black, the amount of people that had issues with Nick Fury being black is insane to me. Now, that being said, Samuel L. Jackson fucking amazing. Guess what? There is a long run of comics, not short, long run of comics, where Nick Fury is African American. Like, that is a thing in the comics. So it exists in the world. That character existed. It wasn't like, let's just take Nick Fury and make him black. Because I don't feel that that gives appropriate representation to the character. If I was a different race, and it's like, for instance, let's say fucking Mexican, we'll go Mexican, right? Or Chinese, whatever. And then they just gave me like a Chinese Spider-Man. Like, that's not my hero. Make me take the actual time to make me an actual hero of my race and give them an actual story so I have something to relate to versus just giving me the different race of a character who already exists and will always forever live in the shadow of that character.
Okay, so, but Black Nick Fury is already a... It is the thing you're describing of they took a white character and made him black in a different years, but they did that in a comic of a movie, but it's still the same thing.
It's the same thing to an extent because it's a different universe.
I mean,
He exists in his own.
Movies are a different universe, so why is that bad and the other thing good?
I guess, so my point back to you on that one. So when it's done in the comics, there's the specific aspect where that is very fucking clear, very fucking apparent. This is a completely different series. This is a completely different canon thing, right? So let's say that the movies are making their own canon, which they've shown plenty of times. Sure, that's great, right? There's not an appropriate backstory with any character that they've changed, because whenever they go to make that change, for instance, Taskmaster's a perfect example of this. When they go to make that change, the backstory of how they got to be that character is so fucking minimal to give a shit about. Like, how bad did you actually feel for Taskmaster as the actual woman? Not at all.
I mean, pretty
her story
shitty,
was
like...
5 minutes. Her story was 5 minutes. 5 minutes, and you were fucking tearing up about her fucking terrible fucking life. No, it was like
No, but I didn't tear up.
You felt more bad for Black Widow having to make the call to murder a little girl than you did about the little girl that got fucking murdered. Like, it was done so terribly. If you're going to change everything that I know about a character to something else, give me a reason to like that version of the character. That's what I'm asking.
I'm not arguing in favor of this Taskmaster because this was a lot like in that Wolverine movie when they made Deadpool like not talk.
Well, that was
Like-
based off a
like
Widow
they-
comic. That was terrible.
It was
Yeah,
not just that they made her a woman; it's that they didn't make her fun.
No, at all.
Taskmaster
I
is
agree.
Fun. He's an enjoyable guy, and not, violent.
I
But
actually...
go ahead.
Can I
go
jump
ahead.
in?
Yep. Go ahead.
Because I not only agree with you, I think this is the way that Marvel has turned in the last, I'm going to say at least 5 years, but I think it probably goes beyond that, where they've intentionally said, grabbing a character and just being like, all right, this is Peter Parker, and now Peter Parker is gay. Or this is Captain Marvel, and now Captain Marvel is Chinese. Like, and it is all the exact same. I think Marvel, I feel like I'm saying this accurately, is now aware enough that changing someone's like demographics to that level in any way, shape, or form changes how they respond to things, changes who they are, changes how they view the world, how they approach the world, what they're going to view as safe, what they're going to view as dangerous, and therefore grabbing and just shifting a character like that is inappropriate. So I do wholeheartedly agree with you, and I'm trying to figure out how to wholeheartedly agree with you and at the same time recognize that some of what they're trying to do in these movies is continue to put the readers of the comics in a spin. And the idea that Taskmaster is a woman is a bit of a spin.
Right.
And the idea that not only is Taskmaster a woman, but she is the girl that Black Widow nearly killed and feels horrendous guilt about to this day. Like,
Right.
that is a way to like tie it together, but the storytelling I think could have really added some depth, added some oomph, added some seriousness and solemnity to that. I'm sorry,
Within
Jojo,
the
you were going to say
isolated
something.
narrative of the movie, yeah, it makes total sense because she's a character. When you reveal someone under a mask, we have to be like, oh my god, it's someone under a mask.
Yeah, we have
this
to care
person.
about.
And there's
Yeah.
no, like within the larger adaptation of stuff they're doing, it's a bummer that this is what they've done with Taskmaster.
Right.
And
Because
that's probably the end of it.
to be fair, and once again, I'm probably still looking at this as the same lens as the Red Guardian. To be fair, we have a character who was portrayed as a man the entire movie until the very last second to show that it was a female. So it's like like I said, the one possible positive fucking male character in the game, or in the movie, is like, bam, it's a female. Once again, that's not my issue. My main issue is still the backstory. That's my fucking problem. Because like I said, I'm completely okay with the changes. You have to make me care about the character. If you take a character I like, completely change everything about them, and then give me literally nothing to care about, you basically just fucking threw away one of my top characters for literally no fucking reason, in my opinion.
That is totally a bummer. Absolutely.
Which is
That
where my
part of it
argument
is
is.
unfortunate.
I could care less if Taskmaster was a woman. If there was a backstory where, like, we showed where, like, Scarlett Johansson had to gain this girl's trust and da-da-da-da-da, so that way she can get this information from this little girl, so she's not just this random stranger that walked up like, hey, by the way, why don't you do this fucking signal when you're up in the office, so that way I know your fucking dad's there, and then bam, blow her up. Like, made no fucking sense. It literally, I could not have cared less about that scene. At all.
But there is one thing here that I think you guys may be missing, and I don't know how to put effective words on this, so please help me and please bear with me. One of the narratives in this was the bond of people that have been traumatized either in the same way or by the same person, and how that type of trauma will bond people in a way that nobody else who hasn't been traumatized in that way is going to understand, and it defies all explanation because it is a bond built by shared hurt. And like, sorry to make this about me as a woman, there are definitely times that I have shared trauma with another woman that I don't expect either one of you to ever get. Like, if I tried to put words on it, it would not make sense to you because you have not been through that situation in my skin, basically, or in anything like my skin. And so I would expect this movie to not resonate with either of you in a way that it would resonate with me, because I don't think most male friendships are built off of like shared trauma experiencing. Does that feel correct to you?
The reason why I disagree with you, I mean, I agree with you with the how that relationship building would work. The reason why I disagree with you on it working like this in this movie is because the only reason she got put in that position to begin with was because of Black Widow. If Black Widow wouldn't have blown her up and literally basically fucking killed her, and her dad turning her into a fucking cyborg to keep her alive and then putting her through all that shit because there was literally no life left for her, I highly doubt he would have done that to his own daughter. I mean, she was the same age as fucking Scarlett Johansson's little sister, going to private school. It's not like she was in the Red Room. She was living a normal life. So she would have never endured any of that. Therefore, that bond would have never happened until, once again, Black Widow blew her fucking face off. And then she then went through all that. So it's hard for me to see that bond, because of the evil dad / whatever the fuck that guy wants to call himself, would work whenever the crux of that whole little girl's life being turned upside down is Black Widow.
Hang on, full stop.
Yep.
I recognize what you're saying, but you need to realize, like, he pheromonally and chemically changed his daughter. So he has more than enough money. He has more than enough resources. If he wanted to get her a wheelchair and get her as much reconstructed as he could, send her to school and give her still a normal life. Like, I'm thinking of my dad here. Like, there's no way in hell my dad would see me in that situation and be like, you know what? With all the money in the world, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn her into a killer that I control. Like, never in a million years. The fact that she was made into something that was less valuable in his eyes, and then he responded by going, I'm going to now take away all of your free will and you will be a killer at my control, like, that is traumatic. So did Black Widow start the process? Absolutely. But was there a choice where dad could have been not a shithead or the worst person imaginable, and he chose the worst person imaginable? He went that way. And that is traumatic. And that the betrayal that I would feel if my dad did that to me is unimaginable. So yeah,
I agree. Like I said, once again, it's still hard to believe that the crux was just so easy to get over, though. That I guess that's my main issue, because like we never really saw, besides the fact that it was her target to get the fucking the antidote, an actual hatred towards Black Widow. Like, even when she was like, when I let you out of this cage, all you're going to do is come after me. Like, that was still done very poorly because there really wasn't, like, actually fighting going on. It was running and then shit happening where Taskmaster's falling through floors and they're being separated and they're constantly still trying to get at each other but not actually getting at each other until the falling down scene. Yeah, I did too. It was fucking terrible. Now, the problem that I have with it, with what you're saying, which I completely agree with you, but to me it just sounds like lazy writing.
Well, check this out. It's the cycle of abuse.
Yeah.
Black Widow
Sure.
is only in a position to blow up this girl because this fucking guy did the shit he did to her in the first place, and then she's just passing it on to the next generation because people who are abused then become abusers. It's like,
Yeah,
you know, a little.
I agree. That sounds like a great way to write a movie, JoJo. Sounds like a great way to write a movie. If only, as you said, dear Loki, if only that would have been spoon-fed to me that way, then maybe I would feel a little better about it. But, like I said, it sounds like lazy writing. Yeah.
To the back and look what's behind there. It's a metaphor.
That aside, I will say... Oh, yeah, were you going to say something?
I think there's also a narrative in here about the forgiveness that occurs between people that hurt each other because they were both in hurt places. They were both in abuse is the underlining narrative of this entire thing. Like, abuse is what drives all of the interactions, all of the feelings, all of the action, and all of the emotions in this is people's responses to abuse. And that is a much harder, that's not a fun Saturday night movie to go watch. Is like, hey, let's watch a movie where abuse drives everything. And a huge part of the narrative in here is the forgiveness around, you were hurt and you were in a place where the abuse was driving you, and that caused you to hurt me. And the anger that I could feel at you, I have to release because you were being abused, I was being abused. This was not reflective of us. There is a whole weird, and I say weird not because it's actually abnormal, but because working through the emotions of both anger and forgiveness and guilt and sadness, and that it's a complex mire. And I think that's one of the things they're hinting at in this whole process is that forgiveness was way faster than I think most people would have felt it, but was definitely part of this, and reflected in the way that the women behave towards each other.
Right. I guess the reason why I have such hard situations whenever it comes to those, especially in the movies, because I used to fall back before this whole fucking Marvel Series 3 started, or whatever the hell this whole TV series thing is. I used to always fall back to, it's a movie. They only have so much time, right? Yeah. But when we look at these TV shows, we judge them differently because, they had this many episodes. They could have built this in a little bit better. But realistically, when we look at how many episodes they have, it usually runs pretty close to how long the fucking movies are. So we can't judge one way and one the other. It doesn't fucking make sense because it's both the same runtime. So, like I said, it just goes to... I'll put it this way.
Shows are twice as long as a movie.
What? Loki only fucking 30 minutes?
6 times 40 minutes or something. It's,
40 minutes? So, I mean...
Home.
Somewhat, but still, close enough. It's not enough for me to, like I said, care about fucking too much of the Loki. Like I said, the Loki thing was okay. It was okay. Regardless, WandaVision's still by far the best out of all of them. But, to my opinion. But, when I went to see this movie, when I say when I went to see it, when I bought this movie on Disney Plus and watched it in the home of my living room here, I didn't have the expectation that this was going to be Avengers level. I didn't even have the expectation that this was going to be Iron Man level because of how much of an Iron Man fan that I am. And fucking, let's be honest, Robert Downey Jr. fucking literally steals the fucking show on all the Avenger movies because he's fucking amazing. That being said, I like Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow. I mean, I can't believe that I'm just realizing this now on the fact that she would have been the perfect option for fucking Mary Jane in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies than fucking the trash can that was in there. But regardless, I don't know. I'm not trying to fucking do the dates. That being said, I'm disappointed on how low it was for me because of those certain elements. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, a lot of it always points back to, well, it's implied. And I don't feel that that's a great way to tell a story. especially whenever you're taking something that these are characters who have lived for fucking decades. Fucking decades. And be like, well, it's implied. That's lazy writing to me. And I don't like that because it's Disney, it's Marvel, it should be better. There's no ifs, ands, but it should be better. You're gonna dominate the cinematic universe and be these blockbusting juggernauts every fucking year. There should be no exceptions. It should be better. If not, then let's hold everybody to the same standard as the fucking DCEU, and then fuck it, I'll just give up on fucking superhero movies because they're never gonna fucking be good. So, I don't like that aspect of it. So, unfortunately, this movie falls down to pretty close to the bottom. I mean, I hated Ant-Man. I thought both the Ant-Mans were fucking terrible. I didn't like either one of them, and this is right down there with with fucking Ant-Man. Sorry, I didn't. I love Paul Rudd. I love Paul Rudd. He's great.
Agenda, probably, except for love of ants.
Has nothing to do with the agenda.
I prefer the ant agenda that I actually do not care for. Otherwise.
Oh my god. Oh shit. Speaking of, did you see, quick little side rail here, did you see the fucking news that came out about the fucking new class for fucking Final Fantasy 14, the symbol?
Oh, yeah.
That they had to change it? So you know how people have that fear of like pods, like the pods in their hands and stuff?
Yeah, tryptophobia, I think is what it is.
Yeah, they had to change that due to fan outrage because the symbol was 3 holes together, and people were extremely offended by it because
tryptophobia. Yep.
Yeah, because it resembled that, which it definitely didn't. But it's just crazy to me because it's like you look at certain, like there was a great conversation in the thread where I was reading where they're like, when does the buck stop? You know? Like, and then it made me think about JoJo because they're all like, I mean, why do we still have fucking spiders in games? Like, why is that still a thing? Like, arachnophobia is a real fucking thing. Da 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 da. The argument was based off of how insane that was even closely to resembling like the shit that you see on the
it's hard to imagine.
It's hard to imagine that it was even somewhere three fucking diamond shaped things all together. 3 of them. That's all it was. Literally, just type in Final Fantasy 14 Sage emblem is what it is. That the Sage class emblem is what it was. It should be green, and that's what they got pissed off about. It's fucking crazy to me.
When it's innocuous like that, it's just like, oh, we may as well switch this. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. Square's like, well, we're not gonna sit here, and all they did was just add like fucking sticks to it. That's all they did. Like it's like fucking 3 lines below it. That's all they did. It's the same fucking symbol. It just has 3 lines in it now. Which someone commented on that was like, for all the people who got upset about the original emblem, I just want you to know that if you actually had this in your hand, those 3 sticks are just the stems inside your skin that you don't see. It's like, oh my god.
That's
Reddit
terrible.
cracks me up, dude. Reddit cracks me up sometimes, dude. There are people on there. Oh god. Anyways, but back to Black Widow. Not trying to go off on a crazy rant here, but there were parts that I did like though. I will say that and this is the part that I guess upsets me the most about the movie is that my favorite part of the movie was literally just a dialogue part, and it was whenever they escaped the prison and they were at the house, and he put on the suit. And he's like talking about his glory days. And the fucking daughter goes, doesn't matter. People barely remember you as the Crimson Dynamo. I was like, no fucking way did she make that reference. No fucking way. I was so happy about that. I started fucking dying laughing. I was like, that to me was brilliant writing. That's fucking the actual Russian bad guy of Iron Man to confuse him versus the Russian fucking copycat of fucking Captain America. I was like, no fucking way. Oh, that shit cracked me up. That was good. But, I mean, as far as the Red Room itself goes, I think they did a very good job of portraying that. I liked what they did with the girls. I think probably my favorite scene to show the dedication to like how brutal the Red Room was when that chick was chasing them and fell down and obviously broke her fucking back so she couldn't move and then fucking terminated herself. Like literally was like, I don't want to do this, but he's making me do it, and then going through it. Like, that was a perfect representation of like how brutal that shit was. So they went all the way to the nines of that. I was more than happy with that. That was great. And then, like I said, her whole scene with him, I liked as well, too, where she fucking went through, like, oh, you fucking didn't even, or you fucking can't even hit hard enough. Let me do it myself. And then fucking breaks her own fucking nose and then fucking, kicks his fucking ass. That was awesome. Like, fucking, once again, I've never looked at Natasha Romanoff. It was all like, oh, she's a woman, she's soft. No, like, she beat the fuck out of me any day. Like, it's fucking, like, she's a badass.
Own your ass.
I fucking love her. She's awesome. Like, I mean, her iconic. And that, to be fair, was probably my favorite. The first scene with Taskmaster was easily the best, 100%. Like when she did that whole leg, when she did that whole leg thing, and then she literally turned it back around on her. I was like, this is perfect. Like that's literally Taskmaster's powers. Like that is Taskmaster to a T, 100%. Great, fantastic. I was happy with it. But like I said, they showed Taskmaster watching videos of her fighting, and I was like, all right, cool. So we got I knew the whole cybernetic thing was going on. I didn't know how deep it was going to go into that because it was pretty obvious. But yeah, so
the good news is you can put a different guy in the suit at some point or something. They could still find a way to make a fun, good Taskmaster later on if they want to.
Yeah, they could. Yeah. I don't think they will.
I mean, we'll see. Who knows?
There's got to be enough. Like I said, my problem with them doing Taskmaster, especially in my opinion, and I don't like saying it's Black Widow, but in such a throwaway movie, and the reason why I say that, and I said this on a podcast already, don't try to build a fan base for a character that already has one after you kill them off. Like, it seems like a throwaway. The whole movie seems like a throwaway. If this would have came out before she died, I think it would have been a lot more well-received. I'm not saying Black Widow fans didn't go watch it, because I'm sure tons of them did, and that's great. That's good for the fucking character. But she's dead. She's not coming back. Like, we might be able to start building the Black Widow 2 fucking fan base, maybe.
I mean, it's definitely an origin story for Yelena, too.
Yeah, exactly, to move into the possible next Black Widow.
And I assumed that Taskmaster, that was going to be like, also, oh, now here we're setting up Taskmaster, a person you'll see for years, but then doesn't seem to be the case.
No.
Yeah, no.
Which is whatever, it's fine.
But I watched it. Go ahead, sorry.
Characters, so at some point they gotta go back to Taskmaster, or else they're gonna be using Man or something.
You say that as if they don't have like literally tens of thousands of fucking Marvel characters. I mean, when's the last time you've seen the actual Marvel character book? Because the latest one that got updated is like this goddamn fucking gigantic, and that's like a page per character. Yeah, I used to too.
15 years ago.
Yeah,
I know all sorts of just dumbass, obscure Hulk villains.
Hey, they threw me for a loop when they finally put Abomination in the movie. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. I never thought that was going to happen. I thought we'd see fucking good old Thunderbolt Ross, who we did see in this movie. Good old Thunderbolt Ross donning as the Red Hulk before we ever saw fucking Abomination. But no, I'd be wrong.
His favorite, Abomination. Kelsey, what are you going to say?
I was just gonna say, like, I was watching every fight with Taskmaster, and I was like, let's see if they do what Chris is afraid they're gonna do, because I was gonna give you not a spoiler by any means, but like hey, they did the thing you were worried they were gonna do, just deal accordingly. And I did notice that, like, other than at the very beginning when Scarlett Johansson's just like, I don't know who you are. I'm an Avenger. I can probably fucking take you. Let's go. And then figured out, like, no, I can't. And she got chucked into some water. They didn't have her outright fight Taskmaster. They didn't outright have a chance for Taskmaster just own her. And I did appreciate that at least. And I wasn't sure if that, like, was in any way redemptive in your eyes, because we were really worried about that going into it.
About Taskmaster getting his ass kicked?
Yeah, about her kicking, like, having a fair fight with Taskmaster.
Okay,
you're like, there's literally no way, like, Taskmaster will.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the first fight scene was great. My problem is that it seems like Taskmaster was on a constant decline as soon as that fight was done. Like, Taskmaster became less and less relevant fight-wise the entire rest of the movie.
Probably.
Like, all the way down. Like, the other chicks from the Red Room were more of a threat than Taskmaster was by the time they got to that part of the movie. Like, 100%. Obviously, there was more of them, but still, like, fighting-wise, like, there was a lot more, like, choreographed scenes and stuff like that, like, actual battle scenes, versus just staring and slowly walking. and then getting hit and falling through the floor and then looking and trying to get over there again. I mean, we had the whole scene where they were falling down, but that lasted like what, fucking 3 seconds. Then it was all like, listen to me, I know you're still in there, I blew your fucking face off, but I'm sorry, your dad's a dick, let's be friends. Like, I mean, like I said, it was a steady decline. But I do agree with you. Yes, the first scene, I was 100% happy with how Taskmaster performed. 100%. So,
Shut up, kicked ass.
and still 100% happy with how that scene played out. The whole shield throw, all of it, like that was so fucking cool because it all caught her off guard. That was the point. It was going to catch Black Widow off guard because she's never fought a villain like that. And that's what Taskmaster's abilities are. Photographic reflexes. Watch you fight for 5 minutes, boom, got your whole kit. Done. Game. So, yeah, but other than that, I mean, I didn't have an issue with Black Widow's sister. The sisterly camaraderie felt like it came a little too early, but I didn't hate it. I actually enjoyed it. So I feel like it came a little too quick. Like at first they got into a fight, that made sense because, you know, their background. And then after that it was like crunch time because they're literally fucking about to be fucking killed and they have the fucking shit there because for some reason Natasha's like, hey, this super fucking cool looking, obviously fucking important antidote shit that got sent to me, I'm just gonna fucking bring it with me versus putting it in a safe space. So I agreed with the sister on that one. She's like, and you fucking brought it here? I was like, yeah. The entire running gag of the MCU has been what happened to you in fucking Hawkeye in Budapest. And you're gonna fucking bring the antidote to Budapest? Like, are you serious? So yeah, that was yeah. So like I said, I enjoyed their camaraderie. I think I like the little sister a lot. I think that if they do move forward with her as a Black Widow, I would be completely okay with her being like the second Black Widow. I think that she'll do a great job in the role.
I have to bring up something that I just found out today and it makes me super happy, and then JoJo, it is totally your turn. The whole joke about like the superhero pose and like you're such a poser, completely that actually came from a conversation that the actress playing Elena Florence, I think her name is, actually had with all of the stunt doubles. She was talking about it and they're like, here, let's find your superhero landing pose, and she's like, okay, so which of these could like actually happen? And they're like, oh, literally none of them. If you landed like that, you'd break your bones, all of them. And she's like, does Scarlet know? Like, shit, really? And so like that conversation that they were having as it like in person as their actress to actress kind of thing, and she's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is ridiculous. And Scarlett Johansson joked later and she's like, 10 years of work into all of the Avengers characters, and she just like mocks us and destroys our self-esteem in 15 minutes.
Which is great because like it definitely felt like a play off the Deadpool joke on that, but like not in the part where I felt like it was 100% copying it, because that was fucking from the first Deadpool movie too, where he goes to fight Ajax and Angel and she jumps down and he's all like, she's gonna do a superhero landing, and she lands and he goes, super impractical, totally wouldn't work, break both of her bones, but oh well, it happened. Like, I thought that was pretty awesome.
Nope, that was not a joke on that. The director heard them talking about it and was like, that's gold, we're doing that. And
That's great.
they wrote it in because the girls did it.
Yeah, I'm glad it became organic. So yeah, because I didn't know that. So yeah, good piece of information.
I know things too. Not just about depreciation.
Uh,
All right, JoJo, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
Oh, jeez, I don't know. We were talking. What are we even? I don't know. Okay, well, let's see the Red Guardian thing. One little thing, I guess, is these movies take place now in a way where now it's weird to adapt some of these characters to the movies because they're so ingrained in a time period.
Yeah.
Like, he is such a Cold War character that you can't have him active. He has to have been active, 30 years ago. He kind of has to be out of shape now. Like, it's just you can't play that straight really anymore.
It's a good point.
It's an absurd thing that just doesn't exist. Like, the USSR is gone. There are no secret communist superheroes anymore. It's like, and they had to do that too with like Isaiah Bradley. They had to make him a Korean War vet instead of, or Vietnam is where he's from usually, or something. I don't know, but they had to like age that up. They're gonna have to deal with a lot of shit when they bring Magneto in. Unless they want to make him fully 100 years old, it's hard to make him a Holocaust survivor. Like, there's just timelines are hard now, I think, because these are characters who were introduced in the 70s and stuff. So,
Yeah.
at different versions of people.
I think it's a really good point. Like, trying to make him play the Red Guardian straight may have come off so inauthentic to be movie breaking.
I don't think that him playing the straight would have made me like the character any better. I think that there could have been a balance in the middle, but to me, it seemed that even like the way you're talking about with the straight, like there's not two ends of the spectrum here. We could have found a happy medium. Like, he didn't have to be the bumbling idiot the entire time, but for him to be like the father who's so out of touch that he thinks everything he did is okay and still making jokes about it and acting like an asshole whenever he doesn't think he's being an asshole, that's fine. But, like, he's still super enhanced. At least let him be able to put up a fucking fight. Like, he literally had zero claim to fame that entire movie of anything whenever it came to action. At least something.
Taskmaster would be nice. But...
something. I mean, he still could have lost to Taskmaster and I would have been fine with it. But he got his ass fucking destroyed. He literally did nothing. I'm almost 100% sure he didn't land a punch. Not a fucking punch.
That I'm just gonna verbatim repeat is should have like noticed Taskmaster do a Captain America thing. Should have commented on that because he's like talking about how he fought Captain America so much. Which he done.
Yeah.
Like, that can't have happened, but he thinks he fought Captain America. It's just odd he doesn't be like, oh my god, that guy's doing Captain America shit or something. No.
Well, then wouldn't that defeat your point that you just said? Because if he actually never fought Captain America, how would he notice him?
He fought something he thinks is Captain America. He seems to really think he fought Captain America. Like, he's not making it up.
He's one of those people whose ego is so out of whack that, like, his mind does those mental flips where he thought he fought Captain America, when in reality it was probably like a dream or something, and he thought it was fucking real. Or there's like
a secret 90s Captain America we're going to find out about. Theoretically, that exists in the comics, where they're like secret Captain Americas while Steve was frozen because they had to retcon some comics they wrote in the 50s. So, maybe.
I do love the we have to go back and rewrite certain shit to make things seem sense now. I love that as like, because I feel like the generation after us isn't going to be able to experience it the same way. I feel like there's a lot more thought process whenever it's like, if we're wanting to make a series, we need to make this make sense from the beginning, to where back then that wasn't a thing. It was like, we're here in the now, we're trying to fucking make money, let's pump these fucking comics out. And now it's like, a lot of this makes no sense. Fuck. Now more comic book writers are fixing the past versus creating the fucking future, and it's fucking hilarious.
Now everyone just lives in a world where there's the Winter Soldier. His backstory is he was Bucky, and that's just his backstory and not the reality of 70 years of publications of just him being a dead guy.
It's fucking
it's just
great,
the
dude.
thing now.
I love it. It's fantastic. It cracks me up. Good old Marvel. Well, I guess that pretty much brings me to the end. Like, I mean, I didn't really have any kind of, like, I didn't sit either way with the mom character. That kind of was what it was. I mean, I fucking love the dude that played fucking Red Guardian, because fucking Stranger Things, fucking good old Jim. Like, I mean, that's my
David
fucking
Harbour,
God.
I think his name is.
Yeah, I don't know his actual name, but yeah, that guy is a fucking beast. I would love to see him actually play an actual character in the MCU. That'd be great versus what happened, but we'll see what happens. I just don't think that. That we'll see him come back. I don't think that's gonna happen. So unfortunately,
he's on a Hot Ones episode. I think you'd really like. You should check it out.
Yeah, I do watch those, so I do need to go see his. My favorite one so far at this point, I think, was still Gordon Ramsay. I just was waiting for Gordon Ramsay just shit all over him about the fucking wings and everything else. Oh my gosh. Actually, no. Take that back. Fucking Bert Kreischer is fucking hilarious on
Hilarious. Funny freaking dude.
The fucking episode with him and Tom Segura doing the last dab challenge was probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen, because they were asking him questions like, you hang around with a lot of comedian friends like Joe Rogan, Joey Diaz, who do you think is the most unfunniest out of all of them? And Bert immediately grabs a fucking chicken wing, and I was like, yes. And then turned right back around to hit him with, who has the worst Netflix special? And he immediately goes for another chicken wing again. I was like, fuck yeah. Anyways, but Yeah, like I said, I really wish this video would have been a little bit higher for me. I really like the Black Widow as a character. I mean, the origin story makes sense, but I mean, honestly, at this point, like, I don't feel Taskmaster was big enough a villain that, honestly, Taskmaster really even need to be in the movie. Personally, I really don't. I think that Taskmaster, because like I said, there was no backstory good enough that made me care about the little girl versus making me care about the character. I think that they could have had plenty of the original Black Widow chicks go and hunt down and get this fucking serum the same way that they had Taskmaster go do it. The only difference is that they would have had to send multiple in order for them to realistically get it away from Scarlett Johansson versus just sending one, because the chances of one chick beating Scarlett Johansson's character, Black Widow, very fucking slim. She's got a lot of fucking experience on all the new ones. A lot of fucking experience. And the fact that she's a fucking Avenger. So she's fought different fucking tiers of villains. Like, it wouldn't make sense for a random chick fresh out of recruitment. So, like, I'm gonna kick your fucking ass, and I'm taking that. Like, no, I would be fucking livid if that fucking happened. I would have been so fucking mad. Oh my god, that would have pissed me off. That would have made me so fucking angry. But anyways, so like I said, I feel like Taskmaster was a throwaway, 100%. Like I said, the background, didn't care for it. There was no actual work into it. I feel the movie, whenever I look at certain characters, I look, how much value did they add to the movie? I don't feel Taskmaster and I don't feel Red Guardian added any value to the movie whatsoever. The overall value of the movie. Like Black Widow, 100% obviously. Her sister, 100% obviously. Her mom, I don't really care for that much. I think she added more value than the both of them. Not the Black Widow and her sister, but fucking Taskmaster and Red Guardian. Those are two characters that I feel could have been removed from the movie, and they could have played the exact same movie. Could have been 100% replaceable. So whenever I look at that, that's how I judge these characters. I guess I should have said that from the get-go so you can understand my mind frame when I'm looking at these different characters as they come in with future shows and future movies. So that being said, like I said, it is definitely down there on my list. I don't think, it's funny I'm going to say this, I don't think it's worse than Ant-Man, though. I literally hated watching Ant-Man. I hated every fucking thing about that movie besides Paul Rudd. Besides Paul Rudd. I fucking love Paul Rudd, and I hated it. I was like, fuck! Now, him in Civil War, he was great, but Ant-Man, like, it just, I don't know, man. I got really hyped for Hank Pym. I thought we were going to have Hank Pym Ant-Man back when it was in talks, and all of a sudden it was fucking Scott, and I was just like, well, we're skipping a whole generation, and the whole birth of Ultron isn't going to make any fucking sense now, and all that fun jazz and everything else.
I think you'll enjoy things more if you just let go of, of expecting like a direct adherence to this stuff. Like, especially now when they're like 30 movies in, they can't adapt things in the most direct way anymore because it doesn't fit into the world they've created, you know? Like, it's just...
Well, my perfect argument against you on that one, Age of Ultron was the worst Marvel movie I've fucking seen. By far.
But that's a flaw not with the Iron Man making Ultron part, it's just with the movie. Like, it's just with...
Oh, yeah, for sure. But imagine if we would have had Hank Pym working on Ultron. You know what I mean? We don't know. We'll never know. We'll never know. See, that's your problem. Flaw in your story already. I'm just fucking with you.
I don't think that landed the way you thought it was going to.
It did for me, and that's all that fucking counts. Anyways, no. But, so yeah, I mean, if I had to rate this and I was going like out of 10, the actual fight scenes, the choreograph was fucking amazing, unlike Loki, that's for sure.
Oh god, yeah.
I would have to probably, I feel pretty confident putting it at like a 4.5.
Oh, that's more positive than it sounded like you were gonna be.
Yeah, Ant-Man's like a 2.5.
What?
2. Maybe a -0. I'm just joking. But anyway.
Oh no.
-0. Wow. How impactful. That's so mean. You jerk.
I know. It's great. Anyways, so that would be I feel I can rest easy knowing that that's where I put it at 4.5. I'm alright with that.
How about you, JoJo?
I like it more than some of them. I don't know, like the first two Thors were real boring, and I don't really care for them.
Yeah,
that's fair.
this might not be in my bottom 5 of them. I liked it. I had a good, the thing. I'm not happy about the thing where they used Taskmaster because now he's used. But, like, I don't mind within the narrative of the movie. It's made sense. I think it's fine. Like, I don't know, like a 6.5 or something. It's a fine one of these Marvel movies, right? It's like not outstanding or anything, but it was totally all right, and I enjoyed it while I was looking at it, and then I probably won't look at it ever again. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's a job.
Honestly, I think I'd say the exact same thing as JoJo, like what you said. That.
Yeah, I think that's another big thing that plays into my rating as well. Is like, is there rewatchability? I would never watch this movie again. Like, I feel like one time is good for me.
I would, but only because I think the best part, which is the prison break, the movie theater next to us. So it got quiet right before the whole helicopter thing happened in the movie, and in the movie theater right next to me, gunshots went off.
Oh my god.
Like I went on like fucking high alert, like where are the goddamn exits, like am I gonna like cover Scott with my body if the situation comes to it. Like I was full like swivel head on all the exits, like ready if someone comes around that corner, like I'm fucking gone. Because I was also in a group of people and we were all in the dead center of the movie theater and we were the only ones there, so like if somebody's coming around and they want to shoot people, like I'm in the literal dead center of a group of people. And yeah, the gunshots that went off were part of a movie. They were not actual gunshots in actual real life, thank God. But I was not paying attention for the entire prison break scene. Like I was head on a swivel, ready to like grab my husband by the scruff of his neck and drag him out an exit if I have to. Like I was figuring out who in the hell I was going to jump over if necessary.
I like your thought process, but the reality situation of like an actual gunman coming into the theater and actually seeing that play out, like, I mean, it's not obviously a playful situation. I'm not trying to downgrade the severity of the situation at all, but the vocal argument of you trying to shove Scott under you and Scott trying to shove you under him over who's going to shield the other person. You know what I mean? I want to be
real about reality here. Like, Scott would just take being shoved and he would be fine. There would be no, like, I will protect you from the bullets. Like, that would not be part of the, like, that, nah.
Okay.
Nah.
Fair enough.
Nah, he would take the protection and it would be fine.
Okay, fair enough.
Not in a bad way. That's just him.
All right. Well, fair enough.
Also,
if we win as a group, then it would be different. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Probably true.
I mean, that's how loud was the bullet?
Apparently loud. Like,
there are bullets in the movie you were watching.
I'm aware. Just to give people context, I'm very competent with guns. I have grown up with guns. I have competition shot. Like, I know what I'm fucking doing. These sounded real. These did not sound like quiet gunshots. These sounded like there was no sound from the theater other than these 2 gunshots, and it was pop, pop, and it was like, okay, I am full on alert. Like, everybody in our movie theater, like, switched and stared at the wall. Everybody. Like, it wasn't just me being, like, suddenly aware. Like, everyone stared at the wall.
Do you know what movie was next door? Was it Han sniping 2 dudes in Fast 9?
Not a damn clue. All I know was I had, like, panic to my toes, and I was ready to go. Like,
yeah, geez.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no part of me that if a gunman comes around that corner is gonna be like, here, let me defend these innocent people behind me. Like, I'm fucking leaping over them and I will be goddamn gone in 3 seconds. And maybe I'm an asshole for that, but people like me in my life and I need to run away from a gunman. I'm not gonna shove anybody towards the gunman. I'm not an asshole, but I'm going to get out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely sucks, especially being in that kind of environment and having that fear. I remember going and fucking watching movies because I've always been, and Kelsey, you know this about me, I've always been one of the people that go watch these superhero movies midnight release. And then after we had that whole thing with the fucking Batman movie where the kid came in and shot everybody, I mean, every time we went to one of those, fucking, like, I felt my peripheral vision is just constantly on those fucking exits.
Me too.
Constantly. Yeah. And it fucking sucks. Definitely takes an aspect out, which is why I'm one of those people where I love going out with friends and hanging out at the movies, but honestly, I would be a lot more comfortable being like, hey guys, I fucking threw $30. You guys want to buy the pizza and the fucking beer? Come over and watch it at my house because then it's a lot more safer and we can all just have a fucking good time.
Yeah, nobody's gonna shoot me at my house, most likely.
Most likely.
Everyone's gonna shoot you outside, also probably. Statistically, the number.
Statistically, no, but it's
statistically
like,
unlikely,
happens,
but it's happened often enough that it's uncomfortable, and you don't
Exactly.
know. As everybody says when they interview them, oh, you think that happens in other places, and then they're shooting at you.
Yep, exactly.
When I
You
saw
always hear
Fast
about it, but you
9,
never think it's gonna
it was an pretty empty theater, and I heard a sound that sort of sounded like it could have been gunshots in the hallway, and I got a little freaked out. I don't know what it was. There was only like 4 people in the theater with me, so it would have been a really bad mass shooting.
Yeah,
If the person
that's
had,
fair.
if there had actually been a gunman, like that would have.
That would have been.
It was a bad time of day for it, I think. So felt safe. I felt like it was okay.
Yeah, that's
Probably.
fair. Well,
I'm
before
glad
we
none of
wrap
us got
this,
shot.
yeah, right. Before we wrap this up, the last thing I wanted to add here, because I think I talked to you guys about this, but I'm not sure, so I want to bring it up just in case. And if I did, go ahead and tell me where I talked about this. But did you guys see the Deadpool reaction trailer? Did we talk about that?
No.
Deadpool and Korg.
Yeah, Deadpool and Korg.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an actual YouTube video where Deadpool and Korg sit down and do a reaction to Ryan Reynolds' new movie. The fucking, is it Free Guy? What's
Free
it called?
Guy, yeah.
Yeah, Free Guy. I want to see that so bad. You have to fucking watch it. It's fucking hilarious. He's treating it like an actual reaction channel, and it's Ryan Reynolds in the actual Deadpool suit because he fucking owns it. I still love that, where it's like there are 2 different kinds of movie stars in our world. Ben Affleck, how much is the bat suit? It's this much. Okay, cool. I'll just take a selfie with it. And then Ryan Reynolds, where's the Deadpool outfit? Wait, where's Ryan Reynolds? Didn't even ask. I'm fucking taking it. It's gone. Done. I fucking love that he fucking took the Deadpool suit. It's fucking amazing. So, but yeah, so he literally did a reaction fucking video, and I'll never forget because my girlfriend's parents went and watched it. I haven't seen it yet, but they went and saw Cruella. And they say it's an absolute amazing movie. Like, they 100% like, you need to go watch it. But obviously, it's an origin story. So, there's a lot of people that got mad because they didn't see the dogs. Once again, origin story. Makes sense the dogs aren't there.
Yeah.
The beginning of that YouTube video is Deadpool sitting there with a Dalmatian. And because he goes, you all loved my reaction to Cruella last week, so I figured we'd do one to Free Guy this week. There is no actual last week video, by the way, because I'm one of the dumbasses that actually searched up Deadpool reacts to Cruella. Doesn't exist, by the way. So I'll throw ahead and throw
Love
myself
it.
under the bus on that one. But
Love it.
because it was so funny. So he shows a little clip of him sitting on the couch with a fucking Dalmatian. And it shows this car chase scene. And Deadpool's just like, where the hell are all the fucking dogs? It's like, no fucking way. But he has Korg show up, and it's fucking amazing. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, 'cause,
But anyways,
Taika Waititi is also in that
Yep.
movie.
yep, and Free Guy, yep.
Human being.
I really
I
want
gotta
to
see
see that.
it. Yeah, I do too. I really want to see it back. God, I love Ryan Reynolds in anything he's in. He's so great. Anyways, so, well, that being said, that's our official ratings. That's our thoughts and views on Black Widow overall. If you are a Black Widow fan, I do think it is a must watch because every character origin story is a must watch, in my opinion. Obviously, I always encourage people to go read the actual comics and get a little bit more of origin stories from there as well. If anybody literally wants to know anything else about the fucking character Taskmaster, once again, urge you, please go read comics. Great representation there, for sure. But other than that, that's our thoughts and views on Black Widow. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe. Also, turn on notification. That way you get notified next time we upload another video. Hit us in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts and views on, you know, if you've seen the movie, what did you think about it? Where does it rank for you in your Marvel list lineup? Also, I need other people out there who are like, Ant-Man was terrible. Throw that in the comments as well. Age of Ultron was
You
a fucking
love
horrible
Ant-Man?
movie.
Put it in there. Like,
No.
talk about how much you
I'll
love
delete
Ant-Man.
those. I'll delete those.
I also can approve those. Just keep resubmitting them. Eventually, I'll find it and I will approve it. Don't worry.
Oh,
Spam. Just spam it over.
Other than that, we got our links in the description below for Twitch and Twitter's down there. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next time.